I'm going to start us off really quickly tonight, and then we're just going to jump to your different groups update. And we're just going in the order, whatever they are here. They weren't in any special order, whatever order. When I get to your term, you and your group, your partner, you guys can come on up and you can stand up here and just give us your quick thing. We do not want to spend the whole class on this, right? We just want a brief update, so no more than 4 minutes. If you guys talk for more than 4 minutes, we're just going to rudely interrupt you and cut you off, right? This is just a quick update, and then Professor Spees is going to give us a little bit of a presentation, and then we're going to have a chance for the two of us can float around and check in with you guys individually. If you guys are having some struggles with finding something, or you have some specific questions now that you spent a weekend or several days kind of looking for stuff, you might have some questions. So we want to make sure we check in with everybody today. Okay? So we want to leave a lot of time for that. So here we go. Remember all these things that you use for other classes, other writing, brainstorming. Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should do that. All those things could be available to you and should be available. So mind maps, or however you like to outline, or whatever your process is of beginning to pull ideas together. And the other thing that sort of came up from some of our discussions last week is that this is a creative process. Let me say that again. This is a creative process. You are hunting. You are a mystery detective searching for the answer. This is much more akin to what you are doing right now, creating art, doing new stuff. It's not a simple Google thing. So you're not necessarily going to be able to put your exact question and Google it, and that's the whole point, right? You are creating new knowledge. So a Google search might start you down a path, but you will never find all your answers by just throwing it into a search engine, right? It's going to lead you to something, and then that thing's going to lead you to something, and that thing's going to lead you to something, and then we're going to discover stuff. So don't get frustrated when you throw something and you don't get the exact perfect outcome. That's to be expected. And just like all of our other stuff, we're constantly in the library. We're constantly in the looking up. We're constantly in to figure stuff out. Just like we said, there's never a perfect finished figure. We're always tightening it up. Same thing with our writing. So don't kill yourself in thinking that it's not the most perfect thing ever on planet Earth, but we're always getting tighter. We're always getting better. We're always revise, refine. Okay, so for your first research paper, we've put up the schedule for you guys, and so the first few things we've already done. Obviously, today is our update number 1. We're going to look for your outline and annotated bibliography and a draft figure. A lot of you guys already have a draft figure this Sunday, so we can just sort of check in with that and see how that's going. And again, all of these little steps, just because you put something in step number 2, maybe that survives to the end, maybe it doesn't, and that's okay. So we're just because you thought you might want to do this thing or make that figure, maybe by the time you get to the end, you've revised it so much you don't need that. That's totally cool, right? We're just trying to provide check-in points so we can make sure we're helping you guys, and if you get to a stumbling point, we can help you get through that. That's the point of this. Next week, you guys will do another check-in. You guys can give us a few more slides. And then your first complete draft will be next Friday. We'll give you some feedback with that. And also we want to see your data sets that you found by then. And then your final paper is March 14th, right before spring, right before we all take a break for spring break. So you guys don't need to be working on this over spring break. Yay. Okay, so here's a quick example. I just made up a quick example here just to illustrate the kind of stuff that we're going to go. And I have a few more slides than you'll have just to illustrate a few things. But so again, we're going to have our hypothesis. So you'll come up here. I'll start my stopwatch, and you guys will say, oh, our hypothesis is, our current thinking is that our core hypothesis is going to be that climate change is likely to exacerbate the decline of California abalone populations. Maybe you have one that's specific. Maybe you have one a little more general. That's fine. And then we want to see just a sample of one of your potential data sources. And so that would be this. And then I'll just explain it a little bit to you guys. So I'll just say, so the key so this has got different dates and different unique identifiers. And the size, in this case, the size of the particular marine heat wave. And then the key data for us is the deviation from the background sea surface temperature. So that's my main data that I want to play with and use as my first main figure. And so that's as much detail as you need to give. You need to go super in depth, but a little bit like that. And then in this case, what a little mocked up figure. It could be an actual plotted figure. It could be sort of a sketched out. It could be a half doesn't matter. In this case, when I do present my figure, a good thing for you guys to do, since we haven't really done this yet, we share something you guys created, the first thing I'm going to want to do is orient my audience to this. So I first put this on, just go, hey you guys, this is my figure about the impact of, potential impact of warming water on abalone reproduction. So I tell people the title, I tell the subject. And then the next thing I want to do is make sure I orient them to the axes. So tell them what the variables are. So on the x-axis, I have date. On the y-axis, I have a gonadal index, which represents how large the gonads are, and so therefore how much reproductive output we potentially have for that particular individual. And what I'm plotting here are the means and 95% confidence intervals. And so what you see is for a lot of the times when we have just regular non-heat wave times, we have some variation. We have some years with lots of high reproductive output, sometimes with lower reproductive output. And then when we have our heat waves, which I've symbolized here with these 2 years, we see a pretty steep drop off in the wake of those in the years that follow. And that's basically it. That's what I'd want to say.